joining us
now.
Yeah,
I'm on.
Vinny's dear friend, Larry Johnson. And, we had you on our 50th show, and here we go celebrating 100 shows. So Larry Johnson, one of the favorite guests that we've had. And you're joining us again. So how's everything been, Larry?
Everything's good, man. You say 50 like it was 50 years ago, and I'm an old man that's on his 100th show. But thanks for having me on the 100th call.
I'm just surprised that we're still on after 50 more episodes. But, it's guys like you that have helped get us here, and we thank you for that. And thank you for joining us. And like I just kind of said, we talked to you leading up to the NFL draft. One Penn State running back talking about another, and all of us are Giants fans here. And Saquon Barkley, a New York Football Giant, second overall pick. A little bit of, people in the football world that didn't like it. They wanted the Giants to take a quarterback. But how do you feel Saquon fits into that offense with Eli Manning, and Odell Beckham, a Sterling Shepard, Evan Engram, and how he's going to fit in as a New York Giant?
I think he's going to fit in great. Now, you have to understand that you have to give Eli the weapons to make Eli successful. If you don't, it would behoove you to think that another quarterback, a younger quarterback, would come into that New York market and be able to take the Giants to the playoffs. It just won't happen. And you know how you New York media guys are. Y'all will just tear that poor kid apart. And if he's not securing himself, having a young quarterback is not going to solve the problem. Having Eli Manning there, I think, and Saquon Barkley is definitely going to change a lot of perspective as far as how defense is actually playing, because now you have a running back threat. You have a running back that's an awesome receiving threat, and you have three great receivers on top of that. I think this is the year where Eli Manning is all or nothing for him, and to show what he can do with those weapons, or get somebody behind him that's ready to come in and save the day.
There was a period of time in the NFL where every single team, it was running back by committee. You pretty much didn't see one sole running back like the times you were playing, when it was you, Tomlinson, Westbrook, Frank Gore, Peterson, Steven Jackson. Do you feel like the value of the running back has come back now that we're seeing running backs getting drafted in the top 10?
I wish I could say that, but I just don't see it. It took a very, very rare talent like Saquon Barkley to be drafted in the first round. Back in the day when guys were just taking Emmitt Smith, Garrison Hearn, the guys who were taken in the 90s, 4 or 5 different guys. And all those guys pan out to be really great running backs. You don't see it nowadays. You go to the second and third rounds, and you just happen to see a guy he would see as a first round talent that all of a sudden he's doing having a breakout season, and you say, oh, he's a round 4 guy. Like, no, he's actually a first round guy. It's just the nature of the beast and the nature of these offenses are always changing. And I think they're going to go to a back that's a lot more similar to Saquon over the years. The big backs, they're going to turn us in tight ends and fullbacks pretty soon. So I think somebody like Saquon, who's low and shifty and strong, he's going to be the prototype running back that they look for in these type of passing offenses.
All right. In 2007, you said you were willing to sit out of training camp to get a contract. I want to talk some holdouts with you. We might see one with Odell Beckham. Like we said, we're big Giant fans. You ended up being the highest paid running back at that time of year. So I know you almost got a trade with Green Bay, but the holdout worked out for you. You got your money. How do you feel about players holding out?
I mean, if you have to do it, I really don't like it. I don't even like it from not the player's perspective. I don't like it from the front office perspective. You know what the guy did for you. You know what the fans want to see. The fans are going to continue to buy jerseys, come to see that player play. Why would you want to hold up the momentum and go into the season and going into a season where you're trying to make the playoffs over a simple dispute deal? Like, the league makes $7 billion. You think you don't have a couple million here and there to give to a guy who's already proven his worth? So I think that's what really gets me about the league, is that guys who really prove and break their heads and break their hearts and show the passion, show they love the game, and show they love to continue playing the game. It's nothing to just have the contract dispute already handled. So when you go into the season, you don't have any distractions. The more and more you have distractions, the more players hold out, then you get fans involved, and you get the media involved, and it takes perspective away from why we really play this game. Just take care of the guys that's really playing for you, and or just move on. Don't make it the contract dispute. I just don't like those things, drawn out into the season.
And Larry, on your Twitter, you were a little outspoken about the new NFL rule about the national anthem. First of all, if you were playing, would you have knelt for the national anthem? And secondly, what's your take now on the NFL's rule where you can stay in the locker room or, the whole team thing? What's your take on the new rule?
To be honest, the whole thing is stupid, really. When you come to social injustice has been here since the Civil War, and they've been hanging black folks since the 1960s era. Guys kneeling and standing, sitting in locker rooms don't do anything. And I've always said this: if you want to do something, come out with scholarship programs. Put kids who are actually great kids in high school who want to get in college but don't have the funds, pay their college way. Going in and out and taking fines and disrupting the nature of the game does not do anything. It does not stop police from killing unarmed teenagers. It does not stop from police killing unarmed transvestite, transgendered, gays. It don't stop. It will never stop regardless who sits in the office, who sits in the locker room, who stands on that field and kneels. It does not stop. You draw awareness to it, but social media has already beaten players to that. Now social media knows more about the players. Although the players are going out there either sitting in the locker room or kneeling. I would never be against all that protesting. If I want to protest something, I'm gonna put my money where the mouth is, and I'm gonna help young black, the LGBTQ community. I'm gonna help do what I can do to make sure they succeed in life. And me going out there kneeling in the field is not going to solve a damn thing. Me taking my money and putting my money where my mouth is and have an organization, and I work with a nonprofit who helps children with mental and behavioral issues. That's what I'm doing with my time. That's what most players need to start doing with their time instead of just making this thing bigger than it needs to be. It's not going to stop anything unless you choose the right programs and right actions to do something about it.
Yeah, and that's your nonprofit was the motivationaledge.org, and we've talked about that, and it's on Larry Johnson's Twitter at Larry Johnson 7. So if you guys want to follow that, that's great. And I agree with you. I mean, if you're gonna why pay those fines to the NFL when you could be putting that money towards something that's a lot more better? And I agree with that. That's a good point. And you're right though too about social media is beating everybody to it, and that's one big difference. Social media was non-existent when you were in the league. How different is the league in like this era of social media where every single thing that happens is out there? It's out there before it even happens almost, especially something like this. I don't think that this would have been such a big thing 15 years ago had it not been for the Twitter and all that stuff either.
I think now social media is kind of taking over of a mind of its own. It's its own. It's the nature of the beast that we live in. Now we care about it now. Before, back in the day, we used to care about it for a whole season. Now we care about it for 30 seconds and it's all said and done, and we wait for the next incident to happen, and then we care about that for maybe 2 or 3 days, and then it's on to the next one. I think the backlash from that is that the league jumps on things way too quickly because they're trying to catch up to this whole microwave mentality of social media of trying to make an impact right now. So when it's all said and done, we are on to the next thing. I think a lot of players are getting caught up in that, and I think Jameis Winston is one of those guys who's getting caught up in that, where you don't know what happened, but it came out on social media. He's being punished for it, and then we jump on to the next thing before we even know what was the reason why he was even punished. So I think we really have to start putting things in perspective and stop letting social media control, the aspect of the business aspect of the league.
Do you consider your departure with the Chiefs a bad breakup? Apparently you said some comments that the head office didn't like and everything, and you were just 75 yards away from passing Priest Holmes to the franchise all-time rushing list. Did you wish things went a little differently when your departure for KC? Because I know a lot of fans were really mad with the way the organization handled it and wanted to see you go out there and pass Priest Holmes.
It was kind of a split thing. I think it came to a point when I was really frustrated with the offensive choices, especially, Todd Haley's a great offensive coordinator, but I didn't fit in his system. I seen what he did in Arizona. I seen how Edgerrin James suffered behind Hightower because he did the same thing to him, and I knew coming in, Jamal Charles was a way perfect, balanced person for that offense than I was. I needed 20, 30 carries. I needed to be an I formation. I'm a single back formation guy with two tights. That's not Todd Haley's offense. Todd Haley's offense was, shotgun, you put the split backs. Like, he did an amazing job with at Pittsburgh. I swear I wish I was playing in Pittsburgh at the time to getting those type of carries. But that's the offenses I needed to be in. And when Jamal Charles came in, it's easy for him to make those type of runs and make those type of plays because he was just built for that offense. So, I was stuck between wanting to be there and not wanting to be there, wanting to just move on. And, of course, when the record came up, 75 yards away, they purposely was holding, even before the shenanigans I was standing in the locker room, I felt they were purposely holding me back from me not getting that record. Because, obviously, breaking that record means breaking Priest Holmes' record, who has been a jewel in Kansas City as far as, his work ethic, his story, his backstory. I mean, for a young kid coming to me, coming in and being obviously the whole different middle class thing. They didn't want me to break it. They want me to be the guy that, who eclipsed Priest Holmes' record. So I can understand that piece of it too. But hopefully nowadays, I wish they would just let it go and just move on and just take what I'm doing as a community and take what I'm doing now and just kind of move on and understand I'm not the same Larry Johnson I was when I was 23, 24 years old.
And last time we talked to you, Larry, you said that you felt you were probably living with CTE from all the concussions from football. How are you feeling these days?
Oh, I'm feeling good, but obviously there's certain things I know I can't do. I can't be in certain crowded rooms. I know light still bothers me a little bit. I get headaches here and there. I get very irritable, and it's all about knowing how to deal with your emotions. And I think a lot of players who have succumbed to that, like Junior Seau, Alex Hernandez, like guys like that, they wasn't ready to be completely honest with themselves and knowing what they were feeling. They thought that what they were feeling was I'm a wimp, I'm scared, or I don't want to show everybody that I'm not tough. And I think that will eat you up faster than any other mental illnesses is to be not honest with yourself. And I'm being honest with myself. I know I can't be around certain people. I know I can't drink certain things. I know I can't be in nightclubs anymore. I have to take care of my mental health better than anybody else can take care of my mental health. And even that comes down to my family. I know certain family situations I just can't be in because it's how I feel. And I just have to understand where I'm at right now. And I'm taking care of myself mentally better than I have since I stopped playing football.
And we can see that. I think you've definitely become a stronger and more confident man in yourself and avoiding these situations that you've once been in. And, I follow all your tweets, of course, and I see that you listen to music. You really take yourself away from any incident that might set you wrong, and I'm glad to see that everything's been going a lot better with you.
Thank you. Like I said, music has always been my inspiration. It's always been my thing that keeps me going. I listen to music before I go out the field. I listen to music every single day when I get in my car. So for me to get the Tuda and all these weird bipolar medicines that does nothing but kind of take you out of your own zone. I think music for some people is their therapy. And I like I said on Twitter, like music's my therapy. So I can listen to a Johnny Cash song here and there, a Metallica song, an Otis Redding song, and be right back to normal where I can really function in this society.
Have you listened to the new Drake Skorpio album?
Oh, of course, because being a fellow Skorpio myself, I bought Drake's album before I even listened to it. So now I'm literally going through certain songs. I'm like, man, this sounds so much like 2006 LJ to 2008 LJ. So it's definitely funny how much we relate.
And are the Chiefs still your favorite NFL team? Is that the team that you follow and root for?
Still. I follow a couple players here and there because guys that I played with that moved on to different teams. I kind of follow them as well, but as far as my number one NFL team, it's still always going to be the Chiefs, and especially when they got my man Hunt back there wearing the 2-7. It brings back so much nostalgic memories watching him run and watching him do the things he can do. It's hard for me not to be a fan of this kid. It's hard for me not to be a fan of Kansas City Chiefs, regardless of how I felt in the past. It feels good to actually turn on the TV and see that red and gold and watch those guys actually, beat the Patriots and do so many great things I've seen, us do when I played with them. And it's just so exciting to be a fan of not only, in NFL football, but it's so good to be a fan of the Chiefs.
And before we let you go, let's get your way too early predictions of Penn State football and your early Super Bowl prediction.
I think Penn State is definitely going to go to a bowl game this year. I think they're going to stay contenders. I think they're going to struggle with is how to replace Saquon Barkley, but I know for a fact they have a running back there who is just as fast as Saquon Barkley. Maybe not as strong, but very, very fast and shifty. He's going to surprise some folks. So I definitely see, Penn State really taking it either 9-3 record or 8-4 record, but I know they're going to be up there. They're going to be contenders at the end of the season. My Chiefs, I know we're going to the playoffs. I think we're going to the playoffs, and we've got everything right. Eric Berry's going to be back. The defense is going to be good. The offense, like I said, is picking up with Travis Kelce, Tariq Hill, and a couple more additions. And, of course, Hunt, we got to go to the playoffs. It's either playoff, Super Bowl, or bust for us, and I think definitely they're going to end up with a 12-4 record. That's just my thing.
All right, Larry Johnson, thank you so much for joining us. You guys can follow Larry at 2LarryJohnson7, of course, the motivationaledge.org, as well as not-for-profit charity. So thanks once again for joining us, Larry, and enjoy the rest of your summer. We hope to catch up with you during the NFL season.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, guys, for your 100th show, and keep it up. I enjoy being on this show, so hopefully talk to you guys during mid-season.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We enjoyed it too. Larry Johnson again joining us on Over the Top Sports Radio, making Vinny's day, one of his favorites. So anyway,
a personal friend.
A personal friend of Vinny the Shark over here on Over the Top.